think we got our other page up. I'm going to be streaming for about an hour at most, and then I got some school I got to do. But for now, I've got all the school done I need to do currently. So thus, yeah, should be good. So, um, okay. All right, just to prevent audio issues. Yeah, should be good. So I'm gonna keep that on just in case. All right, so now if I refresh this page, then it should come up there to indicate that we're streaming. All right, we're gonna set the Twitch chat up here, and our other chat, we can okay, the other chat, uh, yes sir, okay, the other chat, you can pull it up right here, and I'm going to change this. All right. Lastly, yeah, I'll just pull this up and wait, hold up. Warning, the stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. All right, let's change the bitrate. Let's ensure we have the correct bitrate here. All right, let's open the widget and let's use the suggestion here. Oh wait, these are messages, not to change the setting. Okay, hold up. Let me take a picture of this. Then I'm going to go to OBS and put the settings. Okay, okay, 800. Okay, audio bit rate. The audio bit rate setting and should be um I don't see anything. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the tutorial. That'll be all I do. So, all right, all right. Now we can start. This is my first time setting this up. I've never done this before, so just figuring it out. So okay, all right. Yeah, all right, that's good. I'll put that up there and then go to Twitch here. And this up, and voila. All right. Okay, cool. Now we can um, here, and we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and reply to my good old friend here real quick. All right. All right. Um, all right. Yeah, everything's good. So I'm going to pull up filming test. Right. So be good now. Now we have everything pulled up, so we can start the. All right, I want to ensure everything works. And yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. All right. That's the thing. A lot of these games don't let me use the screen how I want to use it. All right, that's good.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more. Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Morphine entered into use in the 19th century, routinely administered to treat severe pain during the Civil War and World War I. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1840. Friedrich Surgeon, I don't know how to pronounce it, first isolated the substance. Literally named it Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. The time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. Makes sense.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider. The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners. So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time. When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight. The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land. But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous. When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see. And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet. As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things. For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for travelling purposes in a short time.
I'm gonna say, I don't think the seafowl would even want to eat any of this stuff. So disgusting, man.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Yeah.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odour of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal. All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert. That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it. By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence. I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world. Peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Satan's hideous climb. How do you climb hideously? Is he just like really bad at climbing? Or is it that hideous Satan climbed?
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined. Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent, whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual. Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
He's being impulsed to go to the monolith so that Cthulhu can, or apologies, so that Dagon can eat him up as soon as he gets out of the lake.
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express. For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely. The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Never seen it in books because the fish race wants to wipe out all evidence that they exist so that humans won't know what hit them when they rise out of the sea, man.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world. but whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound. Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer. They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
The vague impulse that is what I to come down here.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Vast, Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith, about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
I think I looked mad.
I think I went mad then.
Yeah. That's the best part. Best part of the whole game. That's my favorite line of the whole game. I think I went mad.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little. I believe I sang a great deal, and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Good coping mechanism. Understandable. I do that in the same situation.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Indistinct recollections. That means he's really lost it.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
This makes me want to stop playing this game. This makes me want to stop streaming.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist.
Yes, yeah, I escaped the hospital. They couldn't stop.
And amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god. But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Don't ask the stupid questions. Get out of my study, and he just sneaks back.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
I played this game over several times. Maybe I didn't read this. Yeah. Lovecraft and on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12 in order to look and feel like an adult. This corresponds with around her. He claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. He also had a very strong opinion, as evidenced by his letter to Zia. Taste it, and never intend to. Having a strong aesthetic disgust anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. I can't argue with that. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I'm rather in favor of prohibition. The prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Yeah. I'm with him. I never drink alcohol. I've never tasted it, never will. Never tobacco. Because it just makes you stupid, man. I don't want to be stupid. I want to be smart.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
He wishes that were true.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
Mankind is so stupid. They just kill each other out with war. So then they don't have enough of them to defend against Dagon.
Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Lovely, lovely. It's just wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. Wouldn't want it any other way. That's the most happiest, best ending of
the end is near.
Ever have. The end is near, or the end is here?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Oh, and this is my my favorite line in this game is I think I went mad then. I think my second favorite line is what he says next. It shall not find me.
It shall not find me.
I'm broke. I tell everyone I'm broke. I tell everyone I'm broke and they don't believe me. They're like, no, come on, give me your money. I'm like, no, I don't got money, man. It's not my money. No, I don't have the right to decide who uses it and who does not use it, man. And they don't believe me. They're like, no, come on, give me your money. I'm like, no, I don't got money, man. It's not my money. But I mean, I had some other games in my library that I haven't played in a while. And since I save all my money, I don't use any money whatsoever for anything, then perhaps it would be favorable to the Palace of Unrest. That one was good. Maybe I should play that one again. Or should I play this one? Yeah, we'll play with this one. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, man. I'm ready to pick up the cape, put on the mask. Ready for that again, man. Been a while, man. I had a friend that I used to know on my job. My job, I used to work part-time. He was a Resident Evil man. Play that game like crazy. Update the stream and information. Why? Because we're playing a different game now, man. Dagon is really don't take much time. It's very short. Very short. Yes, my son, yes. Yes, my son. Don't worry, there's no stream the game. Is he gonna want? Yes, my son, yes, you can stream. Stream info updated successfully. Yes, sir. So I'm not gonna, people aren't gonna say I'm a liar. I tell them I'm playing Dagon when actually I'm playing Batman. The railway horror. Man, I wish I had the money to buy the DLCs, but maybe someday. One day. We save up to be a millionaire, man. I want to be a millionaire. I want to have so much money I can just go on the street and just I can just go on the street and walk up to a homeless guy like Mr. Beast and give him $1 million. Yes, I want to be a millionaire just so that I can get that $1 million, go on the street and give it to a homeless guy just for the satisfaction of that. That is the sole reason why I wish to be a millionaire, man. The sole reason. You know what? I'm not on you Twitch viewers. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the YouTube viewers, I'm gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna keep the title that I'm playing Dagon when in reality I'm playing a different game. Maybe that will get me more viewers. Maybe lying is the best way to maybe deception is the best way to attract an audience. No, just joking. Like, oh, this guy's such a liar. Every time he streams, he's gonna put a title of a game that he's not actually playing. So, I wonder what lie it is this time. And I get more viewers. Poor network. Poor network. Why, man? Why? Not in the slightest. I used to play Apex with my cousins. That was a long time ago, but it's not really a game I'm very crazy about. But I used to. I used to always. I used to be the robot. The robot was the man I would always play. He was the robot, and my cousins were like the pros, and I was the noob. But sure, it's fine. It's fine. Wait, content classification. Uh, Sexual themes. No, man, I don't put sexual themes in my content. I keep things safe, man. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting for that game to download, I may as well start up. Uh, okay, but it'd be 7. So, in just the first week Eastern time, 10, 11, 12. So we just do at, yeah, that'll give me plenty of time to finish all that up. So, I'm going to set a timer for 10 p.m. I gotta stop. I, yep. That's just the way I stream, guys. I just like to lie to you. So just get used to the lying. You just everything I say to you is gonna be a lie, guys. I'm lying. I'm lying right now. I'm lying when I tell you that everything I say is gonna be a lie. But I'm also telling the truth. I'm telling the truth and lying at the same time because I'm lying. I'm lying that I'm lying, so therefore I'm telling the truth. I lie and then I lie that I and then I'm lying that I did not lie. Or wait, no. I'm trying to make this work out, but having trouble getting it together, man. But yes, essentially I be lying. I be lying, man. I'm lying today. Man. Everything is copyrighted. It's so not fun, man. Small will get more views. That sounds like what I need. When I saw the showing out of time, I was like, this not entirely like, does that mean out of time? Like out of time? Like time is a place and you're out of time? It's like a philosophical thing, or is it just like you've run out of time? There's no more time to do this. Like, What are you talking about, man? I was confused, man. But you're offline. Did I forget to pay my internet bill? Is this what's happening, man? No, 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 no. My internet bill automatically drafts, man. I didn't. Is that why it's not working? I'm just kidding. Man. What be the deal, man? Who the empath becomes after sharing Jesus in Sin City. Alright, oh, my brain hurts, man. Oh, so annoying. Exponential pain. Exponential pain I feel. Forget it. Forget it.